Hi there, Karishma. So, you have written your first set of essays. Great work. Let's take a look and see what you did here, shall we? Okay, the first one is about schools. Should they be entertaining or should they just educate? Let's see what you said here. Including arts and sports activity in schools' curriculum has been remained as constant contentious issue among parents and school authorities. I believe the debate centers on a child's overall improvement rather than discussing about providing bookish knowledge only. This essay will discuss significance of other activities and use examples of art that promotes creativity and group sports in order to demonstrate points, and prove arguments. Okay. Fine, but there are a couple of things that I would like to fix here if I can. So, you can't say has been remained as constant contentious issue. Grammatically, it just doesn't work. So let's change it and say instead, including arts and sport activities in a school curriculum or the school curriculum is, not has been remained, is a constant contentious issue among parents and school authorities. I believe that this one was fine. And then this essay will discuss the significance of other activities and use examples of art that promotes creativity and group sports that develop skills in order to demonstrate points and prove arguments, okay? Because you mentioned why you're talking about art, but you didn't mention why you're talking about group sports. So you should either mention why for both or for neither, okay? All right, let's move on then. One other thing actually before we move on. It asks you which do you agree with, and you kind of said it indirectly. You said the debate centers on this, but you never said what your stance is, what your position is. So I would have liked you to have said it a little more directly. Okay? So how about this? So this essay will discuss why it is significant to include other activities. Maybe this is what you mean. Because you're trying to say that, yeah, I support this. Not just that, yeah, it's significant, but since they say, which do you agree with, you may want to say it just a little more directly. All right, let's move on. Firstly, educating students about specific facts in history is not enough, because this is your subject here, this whole thing from educating to history, and it's one thing. So educating students about specific facts in history is not enough because channelizing art activities encourages children's other instincts, such as creativity and imagination. Okay. I don't know about the word channelizing. I'm not certain that it's a word. Let's keep going though. This is because it follows the principle of inhabiting neural connection with a person. Okay, I don't think you mean the spelling of principle, and I really don't know what you mean here, inhabiting neural connection. That's not an expression that really makes a lot of sense, so you really need to clarify this a little better. For example, a recent study from the BBC indicated that from the middle childhood, children come across more than 1,000 thoughts per day, and by painting some of those, they socialize with their own thoughts. Well, you can't really socialize. What you can do is you can connect with your own thoughts, or you can externalize your own thoughts. Those are some good alternatives here. Okay? So, therefore, although education happens to be the central concern for schools, including art as a subject uplifts children's level of imagination. Okay, fine. Secondly, teamwork and leadership contain equal weightage as education. Okay, in children's further stage of lives. Further stage of lives. All right, it's a little awkward. Let's look at it in a minute, though. This is due to the fact that while working in cooperation, they compel to work in team to achieve desired targets for organization. Take, for example, companies such as Uber and Facebook, which operate successfully due to their unquestionably brilliant teamwork and coordination. Altogether, inculcating cognitive abilities into children will help them balance their present and future. Okay, this paragraph is confusing. Let's talk about why. First of all, supposedly, you were going to talk about group sports. Okay, so that's what I was expecting to read. You've already given me that as your introduction. But you never talk about it here. All right, I never saw anything. That's what I was expecting to see here. So, that's a problem. All right, it doesn't show good coherence and cohesion. That's what would affect this, because there's not a logical progression in your ideas. And a lot of the language here is just really confusing. In other words, I think there's a lot of poor word choice, so that would affect your lexical resource score. Like, look at this. You don't mean corporate, you mean cooperation, and compel is not the right word here. Desired targets for organization doesn't make sense. Okay, you didn't mean successful, I can't say it, successively. You meant successfully. Okay, different word. Okay, and you've just got these kind of abstract ideas here, but I don't understand how this is remotely related to what kids do in school. So the whole paragraph seems really off topic, and that would also affect your task achievement score. Okay, so there's a couple of things happening here in this one paragraph, but it would really affect, the way I see it, 3 of the criteria for the band. Okay. So, and again, you talked about cognitive abilities, but it was really strange because here you said you're going to talk about group sports. So, really be careful, okay? If you had planned your essay perhaps a little differently, I get the sense that maybe you just started writing without planning. I'm not sure. Let's see your conclusion. So to conclude from the examples and arguments given, I firmly agree that educational bodies should try to indulge more entertaining activities which associates with children's overall growth, because in the future the demand for arts and sports will only continue to grow. Okay, indulge is also not the right word here. All right, let's take a look though at your second essay before I give you my kind of more holistic feedback about this. Okay, here it is. Enjoyable activity, better skills, and creativity than reading. Let's see. Reading is considered as most conspicuous way of learning, but only if a child voluntarily takes and initiate to do so. I believe that parents should engage their kids into activities such as solving puzzles and playing group sports in order to flourish their creativity and other skills. This essay will discuss significance of various activities which associates with children's overall growth by using appropriate examples to advocate my arguments. Okay, so your position is clear, so that's really good. But a lot of the grammar and again the word choices are problematic. So let's look at that. Reading is considered as the most conspicuous way of learning, but only if a child voluntarily, you need the adverb here, takes an initiative to do so. I believe that parents should engage their children, not kids, ever in IELTS unless it's general task 1 and it's informal. Should engage their children in activities such as solving problems and playing group sports in order to, you don't flourish something, you help something flourish. So in order for their creativity and other skills to flourish, or not even, you can't even say in order for, you can say instead playing group sports so that their creativity and other skills flourish. Then this essay will discuss the significance of various activities which are associated, passive voice, with children's overall growth by using approximate examples to advocate my arguments. Fine. Okay. Firstly, puzzle solving tasks, plural, directly associate. Okay, again, grammatically this doesn't work. How about this? Are directly linked with children's imagination. This is because it requires a lot of thinking to do in order to achieve complacency of required image. All right, that is the wrong word. For example, a recent study from the BBC, indicated that 90% of the school school-going children. You don't really call them school-going children. You call them school-age children in America. Tend to read faster at schools. They like to engage in other activities than reading at their homes. Therefore, although reading is supposed to be the center area of learning, creative activities is the pragmatic way to uplift their level of imagination. Okay, so this here about puzzling has nothing to do with your example. Nothing at all. They're not linked. They're not the same idea. This does not support this at all. Okay, so an appropriate, let's look at it a little differently. So puzzles require a lot of thinking in order to complete the required image. And the result of this is improved imagination and problem-solving skills in children. For example, a recent study from the BBC indicated that children who engage in puzzle solving in their leisure time score 80% better on IQ tests than their counterparts who do not. Okay, that's the way you support your argument. All right, not with this. It has nothing to do with the previous sentence. Okay? Pragmatic is probably not the right word here, and neither is uplift. All right, improve would have been better here. Yeah, improve, really. Okay? So, secondly, sports are a positively valued opportunity by which parents can inculcate the ability of discipline. You don't really, it's not the ability of discipline, it's just discipline, okay? Although people have a mindset that by pursuing enough reading, children can impart all these essential qualities, evidence suggests that the reverse is true. Let's fix this too. So, although people have a mindset that through reading, children can develop all these essential qualities, evidence suggests that the reverse is true. Take, for example, Saina Nehwal, who practiced badminton with her father since her childhood. She is honored as one of the most disciplined sports people by People magazine, capital P, in 2018. Altogether, playing sports with their children, parents can educate them regarding the significance of discipline in their lives. Okay. I felt okay with this, except for this sentence. I am a little concerned that you added it, because look at this. You say people have a mindset that through reading, children can develop these qualities. But you know what? You never really even mentioned that. You never discussed how reading can do any of this. So I don't think it's necessarily appropriate to do it here. Okay? That's my feedback about that. Other than that, it was fine. The grammar is a problem. You're making a lot of grammar mistakes that make your essay rather difficult to follow. So let's keep going. To conclude from the illustrations and arguments given, I firmly agree that by performing enjoyable activities with children, parents can provide them exceptional settings of learning, creativity, and other abilities. In the future, children will need education along with other fairly important abilities to get success in their lives. Okay, you don't get success, let's say achieve success. Okay, the conclusion was nice though. It was clear, it was easy to read, it flowed nicely. So, good job there. Now what I need you to do is correct these essays, okay, based on my suggestions, and then send that back to us. Also, you'll need to start an error correction list where you write down all the errors that are pointed out to you, and then next to each error, write what the suggested correction is. You're going to add to this list with every video correction you get back. Then, of course, you need to write your new set of essays, taking into consideration all of the feedback you've been receiving, and send that to us as well. Try to do all of this within the next day or so you can really apply everything you've been learning. All right, so I'll let you get to that. Good job with your first essays. Go ahead and correct them, write your new ones, and I'll be here waiting to see what you write in your next set. Good luck.